G'day guys, hope you guys have a great day today. Josh here for you guys on YouTube. We're going to go through ESL Group A Pro League Season 17. Now, ESL Pro League has been through a lot of... Okay, we're going to turn that on because HLTV, I can say right now, if you do non-sports mode, you get a lot of interesting people, okay? A lot of interesting people. Now, anyways, if you guys are completely unaware, is basically Group A today. So with the group stage of ESL Pro League, there is now 4 spots in the playoff, if you guys are completely unaware. So basically we'll just open up this one here to give you guys an idea of the playoff. But you can see here that basically it's an absolute gauntlet now, the playoffs, and probably one of the most complex playoff systems now, as you guys can see here. So basically the person who wins the last chance versus third place, which is the lower bracket winner. Second place gets an extra spot through here, going to the next round, and they play the winner of that 2 position. And Group 1 will be, basically taking the place here. Now, I don't believe there is a loser's bracket anymore. So basically at this point, if you lose, you're out. Okay, so basically you get to the quarterfinals if you come first. If you don't, it goes back and back and back until a winner is chosen. Now, with the groups and stuff like that as well, I'm not sure how they're allocated. As you can see here, there's a group 3rd place, group 2nd place, stuff like that. I guess it'll be allocated based on ranking and where they'll be. And I gotta say at this point, like, these last chance winners and stuff like that is probably a crazy playoff bracket. And you probably can't even go through the playoff bracket until it actually happens. But there's going to be a lot of games, okay, a lot of BO3s. And I wonder, like, the amount of people who are going to complain about that, because they dropped a stream, but increased the number of games, I feel, okay? Since there's 4 groups, if you guys have not seen, there's 4 groups, Group D, Group A to D. So 32 teams. So those are the new formats, so you guys can get used to it as well. So basically, each group has 8 teams, 4 teams will advance to the next round. Now, we won't be doing Group B, Group C, and Group D, because Group B starts on the 1st of March, Group C starts on the 8th of March, and Group D starts on the 16th of March, which is kind of pointless to do, like, predictions for those dates, given the fact that those teams could still be in flux when we come in now, so we might as well just do Group A. So Group A's got Outsiders, IHC, MIBR, Fnatic, Cloud9, EG, Eternal Fire, and G2. Now let's go with Outsiders. So Outsiders, the recent results haven't been too great for Outsiders, but hasn't been too bad either. They're probably the average team. They'll probably hit, like I say right now, could hit 4th or 5th, depending on where it is, or could even get 3rd. I'll expect Outsiders to get 3rd or 5th, to be honest. Then you got IHC. IHC did a very good run in Katowice. Obviously, very, very impressive compared to where it was previously, because you gotta remember with IHC that they've got an amazing team. Like, there were some people bad mouthing IHC, and I'm sitting here being like, mate, they've got an amazing team, like a really, really amazing team that is. Well, think about it, like, you've got Score, you got Techno, you got Bartak, you got Annihilation now that's really improved this team greatly as well. And I gotta say, I think they're going to continue their Katowice run, and I think they'll get place 4th here. I reckon they'll place either they'll win the last chance or win the lower bracket final. Now, overall, with Outsiders, I think they expect to play 3rd or 5th. They could get 1 or 2, but, like, looking at the other teams in the group, I think it's going to be quite difficult. And I think that second upper semi-final is going to be probably one of the most heated contests between Cloud9 and G2. Expecting G2 to win, of course. But anyways, let's get to the next one, MIBR. MIBR showed a very, very good showing, other than at the end versus Complexity in the RMRs, where they stomped a lot of teams, and they beat Complexity a few times in the RMRs, but in the IM Brazil, close qualifier, but lost them in the RMRs, of course. But MIBR, of course, still qualified for the major. Now to be versing Fnatic. Fnatic's another team that's got a lot to prove as well. And basically, I gotta say with Fnatic as well, can get the quick roster out for you guys as well. With Roy, Mezzy, Crims, and Fasha, like, this team is actually pretty solid. And I would actually never expected this team to be solid, given the names in it. You just sit there being like, let's say 2 to 3 years ago, and you'd be like, oh yeah, so this team's like carried by Crims, right? But Nico, Roy, Mezzy, and Crims, are all performing very well. Mezzy's the main star power of this team. Now, I'm going to say with MIBR, you got Haney and Asani, Bronson, X, and Turtle. I'm going to say MIBR is probably going to win this one. The young rosters are actually very incredibly good. I'm going to say for MIBR, it's the first time where I can say that their roster isn't like, it's good because the players are actually good compared to last time where the players were questionable, and everyone was like, oh, I know these players are going to win a tournament. And then you came to the results, and it was just absolutely lackluster. Let's get back up to outsiders, though, because I didn't talk too much about that. James and Chiron have been the main players in it. Kikert has, fallen back a bit. Fame and Flit have been pushing numbers as well. You got IC, you got Blitz, Annihilation, Techno Score. I mean, those four are absolutely scary, as well as Bartak as well. I guess that this is going to be a close BO3. Like, I reckon it's going to end 2-1 to outsiders. If IHC win, it's another notch in their belt, to be honest. And IHC, like, a lot of people have said, I think it's a lot of bias against the Asian teams and stuff like that, where they say like they don't deserve to be there and stuff like that, they're not good enough. But I feel like IHC have been threatening for like the last 1 or 2 years that they are good enough, but they just have absolutely horrible composure in like the second half of games where they just completely fall apart. And it's just very unlike them, given the fact that they have so much potential, so much mechanical skill, great trading and stuff like that as well. Let's get it to Cloud9 v EG. Okay, so I gotta say straight up, Cloud9's probably going to win this 2-0. EG are in absolute dire straits at the moment because one, they didn't qualify for the major, and all the tournaments that they're qualifying for at the moment have all been qualified because they're actually invited to it, not because they're actually good enough to get into it. Because I reckon if they had to make their way back up into it, EG would be a team that's not making it to any sort of big tournament. And the main reason why it stems from their management. Okay, it doesn't stem from the players, doesn't stem from anything like that. It's their management. Now, what do you mean my management and stuff like that? Well, the management didn't clean out all the players that want to fuck off and go play Valorant quick enough, which has seeped into a lot of players in this roster. Mainly, I guess they could have seeped into Breezy, seeped into Cirque definitely, and Stewie and all that stuff. Because when people don't put in the work, basically people will slack off and not really feel like it's worth doing. And pretty much what happens after that is that the team can never fully recover unless you've wiped the slate completely clean. And that means getting rid of the entire team, because the entire team is probably under that cloud where they don't really want to try, because Stewie and Ethan didn't want to try even. They want to play Valorant while stealing paychecks, basically. Now, some of them may be going, oh, that never happened. But mate, like, EG's results went off a cliff when Ethan and Stewie started practicing Valorant more than they practice CSGO. Like, don't lie to me. Meanwhile, Cloud9, they've been going through a rough patch. I gotta say their recent move of getting rid of Inters for Buster was an absolute bust. I have no idea what possessed Cloud9 to replace Inters with Buster. There was nothing wrong with the team, okay? The team goes through highs and goes through slumps. I have no idea why they replaced them with Buster. And I gotta say, if this was a Cloud9 based move, this was the wrong move. Cloud9 should stick out of it. They should have kept Inters. Now they're going to have to put Busters into the lineup and slowly integrate him in. The Cloud9 was great because of its team. It wasn't great because of its players. I mean, the only player they had to replace, which replaced for Hobbit, was Supra. And it's because Supra couldn't make the boot camp. It wasn't because they booted Supra out. It's because Supra couldn't make the boot camp. And I gotta say, overall, Cloud9 should win this 2-0. If Cloud9 loses, it's just absolutely pathetic. And it's just not good. And they're not in a good way. They should win this. EG are just like, EG don't show up. They have potential, but they're not going to show up. I mean, Wiz and Hex T, the younger players, are probably cracking under pressure at the moment because their management keeps setting them up for them to fail, okay? And I'm really disappointed in their management. Like, when their management talks about being heroic, like, watch out, we're the next people, blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there going like, mate, you just put your two youngest players, who are your main potential of your organization, under immense pressure. You put Vorborg, your fucking superstar coach, under immense pressure, because the moment they fuck up, it's not the management they're going to get fucking called out, it's the players that are going to receive the fucking DMs. And also the performance coach fucking outing Kassad as a fucking middle-aged man and not focusing on the team but focusing on Twitter wars. Come on, get off it. John said, Dan, I missed out info Fnatic and MIBR. Who did you end up going with? I went up with MIBR 2-1. I'm not sure if I said it anyway, so I went with MIBR 2-1. I think MIBR are going to win that. I like Isani, Bronson, all the stuff. They are very, very good. It was very, very good casting in the RMRs and on America. They're good. They reckon this is a good team. I reckon they'll probably get second or third in the group, but that's definitely a good team. There's actually really, really hard here, gotta say, with this setup here. Like, this group, there's about two decent teams that are gonna miss out, okay? Maybe even 3 decent teams are gonna miss out, because the only team that's shit in this group is Evil Geniuses, okay? Like, if you want a team that's going to go out at 8th place, guaranteed, it's probably EG, okay? Because the other 7 teams, they've got a lot more good points than they do have bad points, okay? And I would say the only team that could possibly, the only team that could possibly lose to EG is a out of form Cloud9, okay? Literally it. I just, and I gotta say, IHC aren't gonna lose to them, okay? Like, IHC have mechanically better players than they do. So if you want to talk about anything like that. IHC's performance surprisingly was so good when they're in major tourneys. Dude, I actually play shit in major tourneys, okay? Other than Katowice, they always underachieve. Like, they get so close to beating Astralis, and then they fucking lose. They get so close to beating Complexity, and they fall apart. It's just like, come on. Like, I know you guys are good enough to beat these teams. You put, like, Astralis into a situation where if they lose a round, they're fucked. I feel bad for the production team at this tournament. Do you know why they're running 2 streams, Pingu? Like, I felt this team would be a good free stream tournament. So I'm really confused that they're running 2 streams on this one, because they've got 7, 5. They've got 16 games. 16 BO frees. So I'm curious why they didn't put the 3rd stream on, to be honest. But anyway. No, yeah, I don't know either. To be fair, I feel bad for Eternal J and Dweg, because they're the unfortunate ones that get bumped off. That's pretty much it, okay? Like, they're the unfortunate ones that get bumped off in the end. Because, like I said, I haven't seen them cast recently on CSGO either, so I'm not sure how they're going at the moment. Because I don't think they're going to work for any low rate, casting for CCT. And CCT's going to be like, oh, we don't pay low rate. I'm like, yeah, you do. Okay, like, for Eternal J and Dweg, what they were on, yeah, you pay a low rate. Anyway, let's go to Eternal Fire and G2. This is the biggest fucking trap game of the tournament, okay? You got a team that's really in form, that just won CCT, and has been shitting on teams like Ents and stuff like that, which is quite an achievement. But then again, Ents had one stand-in and stuff like that. But, shitting on really good teams like Bad News Eagles and Ents, like, brimming tier 2 teams. And then you got G2 that has not lost a BO3 in a long time, and you're thinking, ooh, are they going to lose a BO3 here or not? Okay, this is like the biggest trap games. Like, anyone trying to tip this game is going to have an absolute headache, okay? I reckon G2 is going to win 2-0. But it's like an absolute headache trying to determine who's going to win this game, because both teams have very strong points on why they should win this game. I reckon G2 will win it given the fact they've been in better teams like Heroic and BO3s. That's pretty much it. Wait, they're doing 2 BO3s on each stream a day? Yeah, they are. That's big. To be fair, that's the Players Association amount. Okay. Yeah, okay, they're not doing CCT, okay? They're not doing a full CCT, Pingu. Talking about CCT, someone actually commented about the talent being live 16 hours a day, and I'm like, yeah, I do agree. 8 or 10 hour day for production. Pretty decent. So, those are the group games that I suspect. Now, who do I think is going to go through in the groups, okay? Okay, I can say right now, Outsiders are going to go through. MIBR is going to go through. Cloud9 and G2. I feel bad for Eternal Fire. See ya, Pingu, man, have a good one. I feel bad for Eternal Fire, Fnatic, and IHC, but realistically, you could have 7 of those teams go in a group, and EG aren't going to go in a group. Who's going to win the Kassad Super Slam? I reckon IHC is going to win the Kassad Super Slam, okay? If you guys want to know that one, I reckon IHC are going to win the Kassad Super Slam, and they'll knock out. Like, they'll give a good old knocker out Aru to EG. IHC will collect the 10 grand, or whatever it is, from Kassad. I think it's $1,000, actually. I'm not really too sure. And everyone in IHC is happy, okay? But as I said before, I think G2, Cloud9, MIBR, and Outsiders will get out of this group. I reckon G2 is probably going to win the entire group. Cloud9 will... Not Cloud9, sorry. MIBR will probably come second. Outsiders will probably come third. And Cloud9 will probably come fourth, okay? So that's what I've got for those ones as well. With the in-depth analysis as well, the strongest team in this group is obviously G2. But, like, realistically, all seven of these teams, other than EG, can qualify. Because they've got all strong suits. They're all similar ranked. They've all faced off against similar teams and produced similar results. But I gotta say, I think a few teams in this league are gonna miss out. When realistically, if they go put into like a Group B or Group C or Group D, they could potentially make it as well. Like if you look at Group B, for example, we'll just do a cursory glance. You got Saw, Imperial, Movistar Riders, and you're like sitting there being like, why the hell are they there? Okay, like, you know, there's a lot more easy beat teams compared to Group A, where there's only one easy beat team, which is EG. And look at Group C, for example, you got Rooster, Greyhound, Zero Zero Nation, that are easy beat teams. So you see what I mean about, you know, like a lot of different other ones have easy beat teams like Rare Atom, 80K, Forza. Like there's a few. Forza's not really an easy beat team, but you see what I mean about it as well, where Group A is fucking stacked compared to like all the other groups. Like if you're in Group A, which is probably G2's group, it's probably one of the most scariest groups to be in, because you could easily, like, right now, if you fall to the lower round, you're versing a semi-decent team. If you fall to below lower round, you're also versing a semi-decent team for last chance and stuff like that as well. And it's, like I say, it's just, as I said before, it's just really, 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 really rough, okay? Incredibly rough. Also, am I going to be casting ESL Pro League Season 17? No, okay? I'm not talent on there, okay? They've already semi-announced talent because someone released a photo of, like, Sponge, Freya, Henry G, and stuff like that sitting around. So if it's not obvious enough that I'm not talent on ESL Pro League Season 17, just in case you're wondering, okay, I'm not talent at all. Anyways, I want to talk about something else, actually. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed that video, like, comment, subscribe. This is obviously going on YouTube. And the worst part is I didn't hit record. So I'm going to have to edit this later. But